Yes guys, what is going on? Welcome to episode 32 of the Under-23 Sorare Road to Glory. If you're completely new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. And if you do enjoy the video, please always do give it a like. If you are completely new to Sorare and you are yet to sign up, there's a link in the description of this video that will get you some free credits once you've purchased your first few cards on Sorare, and it also helps me out as well. We're going to get straight into things. We've got a big episode ahead of us. Loads to look back on as well, in that we just had our first ever brand new system implemented on Sorare, relegations, promotions, etc. So we'll get into all that, see how we got on, and then look forward to this upcoming weekend. So without further ado, lads, let's get into things. So, as I mentioned, it was the first ever game week where relegations and promotions were a thing. And luckily for us, we didn't get relegated in any of our lineups. Now, the competition we entered last weekend was Contender In-Season Limited Division 3. We scored 301.86 points and we didn't hit any cash. We were 39, just under 40 points away from hitting the cash. And, I mean, on reflection, right? We've got one decisive in there, a couple of decent AA games. Andrade with, a 20 AA game, which was a bit of a shock, actually, in a 1-0 win. Thought he would do a lot better than that. So as my captain, I kind of picked the wrong captain if you look at, all the scores elsewhere in this lineup. Not by much, Palisic was obviously the standout there, but Carlos Martin blanking for us away to Amorbieta looks to have let us down, really. And obviously, not captaining the right scorer in Andrade, and no clean sheet for Eibar was bitty disappointing. They won 5-1 and conceded pretty late on. So that was a killer. We weren't too far off the cash rewards. I really expected the scores to be astronomical, especially in Contender. But as we'll get into, and this works into what I'm going to do this weekend as well, Contender scores, especially in the lower divisions, weren't high at all, which in a way is what I think these divisions are designed for. I think it's a good thing. I did see a few comments saying that, this series and how it'll all work towards the end of the season once I give away all the cards that we use in the Road to Glory. I guess the whole point of this series is, of course it's nice to win cash or ETH, but ultimately I want to win cards to give away to you guys. And I think I saw a comment on last week's episode that, I think you should enter your lineups in classic modes to win cards. And you know what? Upon reflection, I think that is probably what we should be doing, considering we only have, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks left of European competitions and chances to win cards before I do give them all away to you guys watching. So I am still looking out for all you guys' comments and likes and shares and everything. It does always, of course, mean a lot to us. It makes sense, right? I think we should go into a classic competition this weekend. It probably will be Contender, but just going back then to Under-23 Limited this weekend, Campos did not play for Amorbieta. It looks like he's not being dropped, but the other goalkeeper's been playing pretty well. And he missed one game because of Under-23 or Under-21 Spain squad situations. So, yeah, it's one of them where, he can't really work his way back in because the goalkeeper has now basically become the first keeper. So that is that. Can't really do too much about it, and nobody else really scored that well in that lineup. And then 240, we went in with a 4-man threshold strategy, and of course it didn't work. Brennan Johnson, another assist. He is on absolute flames right now for Tottenham. Griffin Yao was out of the squad for West Lou, which was quite concerning. I'm pretty sure it was something to do with him being away with the US under 23 team, potentially, I heard. Madsen, 7AA, and Clerk, actually, as my captain, really did not score well here. They lost 1-0 away from home. So, it was an annoying weekend, on the whole, in that, we didn't win anything. But, we're used to that on the channel. We don't always win every week, and that's fine. And then, yeah, I think we've learned that, or I've learned definitely, that I think we should be playing Classic because I want to win you guys cards at the end of the day. I really fell into the trap of wanting to play my in-season cards for the first game week. And I don't regret doing it, but I do think moving forward, we are and should be playing in the classic modes. So for this weekend on Play Sharper, the starter predictions and expected scores of the boys, we've got Clerk up there at 95% as always. Andrade the same. Carlos Martin's at 80%, which is nice. Here is the Campos situation. He's at 30%, which is obviously not ideal. And then we've got Klein Hansel at 90%. Madsen's questionable. A few of our players don't have predictions yet in Monchu, Brennan Johnson, Yuito Suzuki. And then going over to the second page, we've got Montez, who hasn't really been starting, actually, for his team, which is quite concerning. Ivan Heel doesn't have predictions yet either. Timo Becker's at 90%, our latest Tier 2 win, I believe that was, wasn't it? Lucas Zidane at 95%, which is great to see. Griffin Yao, no predictions. Jack Mayer for Nashville's at 80%. I have seen the Badgie is playing, by the way, out of completely nowhere. feels like he's somehow back, which I did not expect. I feel like I bought him and I've not used him all season. Like, no joke, I don't think I've used him once. Rich Delay is back as well, which is mental. He's 90% at home to Genk. Khalifa Koulibaly, I think, came off the bench on the weekend. No predictions yet for him. Mohamed Cham, no predictions. Darlan's at 95. Pasalic, no predictions yet. Brooklyn Reigns at 20%. El Karauni at 90%. And that is basically the extent of our weekend. And normally, we have multiple goalkeepers play and we have multiple players to choose from in most positions, which we do this weekend. But goalkeeper, we are really struggling. In the Kampalat and the Turkish League played this midweek, and I didn't really have any of the players to play with him. And so he was kind of wasted, basically, this weekend, or this midweek. And I'm pretty sure he plays next midweek. For some reason, the Turkish League is following a weird fixture structure right now, which is annoying. It's not coinciding with, all the rest of Europe, playing on the weekends. So that is quite annoying in that, we literally have one goalkeeper this weekend. Would have two if Campos was playing, of course, but he's not. And it leaves us in a sticky situation. But like I said, I do really want to prioritize winning cards. And I think our best route to that right now, with the lowest scores needed to do that, is in contender, whether that's Division 3 or Division 4. If we go over to Sorare itself and have a little look at our divisions, like I mentioned, we didn't get promoted or relegated. We stayed in the same division. So you've got, we could play, one of 4 competitions this weekend. We could go in-season Division 3, in-season Division 4, or we could go Classic Division 3 or Classic Division 4. Like I said, I am looking to play Classic this weekend. So it's either going to be Classic Division 3, where right now there's 3,210 participants, and they're fighting for Stare at the top, all the way down to actually 4th position. And then there's cards paid down to 466th position, and boxes down to 2,330 positions. If we played in Division 4, that is, we would have cards down to 418th, and then boxes down to 2,110th place. So, it's pretty hard not to win a box of some sort, I think, in this division. Now, I was having a look on Sorare data, right? And I had a little look at, what was the score required last weekend to win a guaranteed card, which would be a tier 5, if we were looking at the bottom tier list here. So between 296th and 418th. So 418th basically scored 292.82 points. Now, I don't know about you lads, but I don't think that's a good score at all. It's a very, very, very average score, and something that I know for a fact we can do. Like, barring any DMPs, of course. I really think, with the teams we could put out, or the team that we could put out this weekend, which of course we will get into in the lineup building process, I really think that's achievable. And then if we're looking at the scores required maybe for a tier 3, so that would be 172nd position. The minimum score required for a tier 3 in that competition was 325.94 points, which again, I think is really achievable. It's only 27, 28 points more than the tier 5. And so I really, really think as long as we can nail our captain, which looks to be the new, not meta, but that is where you're going to get the bulk of your points, right? If you can get your captain right, if your captain can score 80 plus before bonus, then that just sets the team up for success, realistically. And it alleviates a bit of pressure on the rest of the guys to score, equally as well. Of course, you want them to all score above 80, but we know that that isn't always the case on this game. And so I really do think we can try our chances at either Division 3 or Division 4. That's probably going to be the contemplation this weekend, lads. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. Do you think I should go with Division 4, which on paper should be not a lot easier, but a bit easier than Division 3? Or do you think we should go into Division 3? I'm thinking off the bat, I'm really thinking Division 4. But let me know what you think. I don't know yet. I am interested to see what you guys think as well. Either way, it'd be the same team going into either competition. There's no difference in the teams. It's just where we're going to play our cards. And I think that as a thought process or a thing to do now, like that wasn't a thing before. You didn't have divisions in Sorare. You didn't have to think about these things. But sometimes dropping down maybe a division, if you have the option to, where the scores required might be a bit smaller or softer to win something guaranteed, you could have to take advantage of that. And I haven't even got into the boxes right now because I made a video a few days ago on Tuesday. I opened 2 light reward boxes, and granted they were at rare level in the Premier League comp. And I won myself a Ruben Diaz rare card, which is a tier 1. I think the odds of that was like 0.37%, which is mental, really, isn't it? So it was in basically one of these, but the rare version. And it just shows, like, people, and I know I'm living proof of it, like, I won a card from there. Like, these boxes look to be a really cool addition, I think, to the game. It allows for people that aren't scoring very well and aren't getting into the guaranteed, prize positions to still win cards. And I didn't win a card on the weekend, to be fair. Like, I did win a bit of cash in my rare and super rare teams, but I did not win a card, like a guaranteed card at all. I won 2 boxes and a bit of cash. And yeah, in those 2 boxes, or in one of those 2 boxes, was a Ruben Diaz, which I still can't believe that happened. If you've not seen the video, it should be linked below. But yeah, it was just mental. So that was a bit of a side note. Let's get into some lineup building then, lads. Like we said, Lucas Zidane is our only goalkeeper. We have no other playing or guaranteed playing goalkeeper, which is of course annoying, but what can you do? Clerk looks to be a really nice option at home. Real Oviedo are a decent team, but Elche at home should be pretty good, and I think we could count on him there. We've got Monchu, we've got Pasalic at home, and we've got Ivan Heel away. Riker play at home to Hajduk Split, who are a good team, but I know they are a bit injury-ridden right now, and that could be a nice little play, knowing that he did get a decisive last game. Hopefully he can go 2 for 2. Up front, it's basically Carlos Martin or Koulibaly, who I said came off the bench last week. We need Carlos Martin to find this sort of form again. He is at home, and so that potentially could happen. We'll have to wait and see. And then for the extra position, this team's so far picked itself, I would say. Klein Hansel's in contention at home. I am a big fan of his. He hasn't really scored that well recently. We've then got Andrade, who's playing away to Sturm Graz, who are a good team. They could potentially get beat there. But does that necessarily mean that Andrade doesn't score very well? Probably not. I would say those things are quite mutually exclusive, even though you get your 10 points for the clean sheet bonus. It seems like that he doesn't need them most of the time. But in the last 4 games, he's only scored well once, really. Before that, there was a 3-3 where he was absolutely exceptional. So yeah, we are going to need him to find a bit of that form. But I feel like I struggle to not want to play Andrade right now, just because of how good of a card he is in general. I'm going to captain Clerk. That gives us a 76 lineup strength score, which is quite respectable, to be fair. Then I think the best thing we should do with the rest of our players, because we do have quite a few outfield players that we can utilize. We don't have a goalkeeper, and I'm at the stage now in this series where we do have a cash balance, but I don't really feel the need to go out and buy a goalkeeper, knowing that we do have Kampelat, that will be involved in these weekly fixtures at some point, in the Turkish league and whatever, and hoping that Campos does retain his place back at some point. I'm quite happy just going into 240 and just aiming for the lowest threshold with a 4-man setup. So we're going to do that then with Monchu. I really want to play Brennan Johnson. He's playing against his ex-club. I'm somebody that loves a player that plays against his ex-club. I really do think it's always a recipe for success. But he did limp off injured a little bit last game against West Ham. I think he's going to be fine personally, so I am going to throw him in for now, even though Sorare data projections seem to think he's going to be on the bench. But I think he will be fine, knowing that it is against his ex-club. I can't see him wanting to miss that, really. We are going to throw Klein Ansel in here then. Like we said, we are going to play a goalkeeper, so we can basically pick anyone. Yuito Suzuki is also at home, and he's playing against the team, Silkeborg, who he actually scored a hat-trick against 2 games ago. So I'm quite inclined to go for Mr. Yuito Suzuki there. Of course, we are going to go in with a goalkeeper. We'll just have to field a goalkeeper that doesn't play, of course. We're going to save that lineup in there. And I think this is the situation for this weekend then, lads. It's going to be Contender Classic Limited with our best team. I am still in and ahhing whether to go Division 3 or Division 4. Please do let me know in the comment section what you would do. And then we're going to go for that 270 point threshold with the 4-man effort in Brennan, Suzuki, Monchu and Klein Hansel. Going over to Sorare then, lads, we are going to input these teams. We'll do it in Division 3 for now, but like I said, please do let me know what you think I should do. Whether I go Division 3 or Division 4. Let's throw this team in then. So Zidane, we've got Andrade, we've got Pasalic, Martin, and where's he to? Big Clerk. Captain Clerk. And that is going to be our Division 3/4 lineup for Contender Classic. But there's the team there in Division 3. But like I said, I am interested to see what you're going to say, whether or not to go for Division 3 or 4. I'm also not the biggest fan of this sort of button that you have to go and click for 240, 220, and 270. And the fact that 220 is like the first one there, and I get it because it's the lowest cap, but everyone's playing 240. Nobody's playing 220 before 240. So here we're going Klein Hansel, we're going Monchu, Brennan Johnson, hoping that he's fit to face his ex-club. And we're hoping Yuito Suzuki can replicate his previous scores against the team they're facing. We've got our DMP goalkeeper in there. I think we're going to captain Suzuki, to be honest. I've got a good feeling about his game week this weekend. We're going to target the 270 points, $2 threshold. And lads, that is going to be the conclusion of episode 32. I hope you have enjoyed. Please do let me know what you would do as far as going for Division 3 or Division 4. Does it make a difference to you? Please do let me know in the comment section. I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great game week. And I shall see you guys in the next one.